Now to get a check of the weather with Nebraska Extension's Eric Hunt. Eric, as I mentioned earlier in the show, some producers have already hit those fields for harvest. How are things looking across the state with the harvest season ramping up?
Well, thanks, Bryce. So you have some chances of rain first portion of the week. Should be drying out, though, past Wednesday. Looking at the upper air pattern by the first portion of the week, we'll see ridging across the western portion of the country. Polar jet streams well to the north, so any cold air will be kept well up here. We are looking at a shortwave coming into the north central portion of the country early in the week, probably entering Nebraska by early Tuesday morning. So I do anticipate showers and thunderstorms being possible by late Monday, probably likely across most of the state during the day on Tuesday and possibly early on Wednesday. In terms of amounts of precipitation, the best chance of picking up significant precipitation will be here across the eastern portion of the state. I do think there's going to be a chance for everybody in the state to pick up a ½ inch of moisture, and there may even be a chance for some areas of central and eastern Nebraska to pick up between 1 inch and 2 inches of moisture between Tuesday and early Wednesday morning. If you're looking for some drier weather, though, we should see ridging building back into the north central portion of the continent by a later portion of the week. That'll warm things up, but also will dry things out. So by the time we get past Wednesday, I think we're entering about a 5 to maybe 7-8 day stretch where no one in the state should see any meaningful precipitation. Probably shouldn't see any precipitation at all, to be quite frank. Also going to keep us relatively warm. Looking at temperatures, probably getting into the 80s by the end of the weekend across most of the state. And I'm not seeing any real frost risk coming in here across most of the western Corn Belt and northern plains. So if you have some crops that are slower to mature, I don't think you have any real risk of frost coming in on them anytime soon here. Temperatures from CPC, again, forecast to be well above average here across the region of the country through the 1st of October. In terms of precipitation, I do think we're going to have some chances of rain again to contend with by about the 1st, maybe 2nd of October. There's some indication we should get some troughing back into the northwestern portion of the country. The good news, though, is it seems like this would be a relatively quick-moving system should this actually come to fruition. So even though we may get some rain here again, first portion of October, it will be a relatively quick-moving event, probably not necessarily going to be producing the 2 or 3 inch type rains that we've seen in some cases here so far this fall. CPC does show a chance for above-average precipitation. Now, again, I think this is mostly focused on probably October 1st, maybe September 30th. I do think by the time we get to about Wednesday, we should be looking at least a 5, maybe 7 day stretch with no precipitation. So that should be a good harvest window for some of you that are able to get out in the fields and get some stuff done. Extended forecast through October 22nd, so it shows dry here across pretty much the entire central portion of the country. So even though we may get some rain coming through here about the first portion of October, right now the forecast is that historical precedent would suggest that October is probably going to be a bit on the dry side in our region. So if you're wanting some drier conditions for harvest, it looks like weather may cooperate this year. Precipitation lately, though, we did have quite a bit of precipitation across most of west central and central sections of the state, and some pockets of northeastern Nebraska also picked up some significant rainfall earlier this week as well. We also had about 6 inches of rain down here around McCook. Also some severe weather to contend with as well. Quite some slow-moving supercells, so we did have some wind and hail damage here in this portion of the state. Quick look at quick dry. Basically, the entire winter wheat belt here, we're getting into planting time for winter wheat. Already started here across the portion of Panhandle. Pretty good conditions here across this region. Very poor finish to this corn and soybean here across the eastern and southern portion of the Corn Belt. And here's the temp and precip roundup for the week ending September 13th, 2025. Back to you, Bryce.